Hello, and welcome back to the Ironman. So we have a lot to get into this video, so the intro is going to be pretty short and sweet. But basically, I finally got around to training some combat. I keep saying I'm going to in a lot of these episodes, but I really went hard at it this time and made a lot of progress. So yeah, let's get started.
Well, I am terrible at missing important levels, but we just got 50 attack. And yes, I grinded out. I think we were 42 when I started killing Banshees, so 42 to 50, we're all on Banshees. But I ignored strength for now. I used to train attack and strength together, but I wanted to get rune weaponry unlocked, which I can go equip now. Here we are at Daemonheim, because I have some challenges to turn in. All three of these are complete, and you might notice that all of my weekly reward chests are opened, except for this last one. But if I turn in these three challenges, there we go. There's our second Deathtouch dart on the account, and also some DG tokens, which apparently you're not allowed to claim while in Daemonheim. I'm not sure why that is. But anyway, there's our Deathtouch dart. How many DG tokens do we get? Looks like 1.4k, not an awful lot. But even though I just came here initially for a daily challenge, I'm actually not going to leave. I'm going to keep going because I do want to get up to 50 strength outside of doing Slayer. And I think doing some Dungeoneering is a good way to do that because my best weapons for Dungeoneering right now are melee weapons. So we had a pretty large game update today that I wanted to just quickly address while I'm in the middle of my Dungeoneering grind. The Wilderness Reborn update came out today, which means that Wilderness PvP is now opt-in, and there's a whole bunch of Slayer revamps, and also just Wilderness mechanic revamps to the Wilderness. I'm not going to go through all of them, because, of course, if you're interested, you can go on the site and read for yourself. However, what I will say is this is a pretty big change for a hardcore Ironman account, and the reason why is because instead of people just being able to kill you now, you will be randomly attacked by like groups of NPC enemies. So what this means for us is I think that some Wilderness content that was previously just completely off limits until we lose hardcore status is now going to be somewhat doable, such as the Wilderness achievement system, because if I ran around in the Wilderness and I ran into a higher level and experienced player versus player person, they could easily drop me and there's hardcore status gone. And now I think it may not be easy. I may have to prepare and get good gear and bring lots of food, but we can at least survive NPCs because there's always ways to deal with NPC characters. Okay, I'm checking in for a quick skilling update. I have been doing a lot of just AFK skilling the past few days because real life has been a little busy. But I am finishing up my full rune set, which is, I've been rocking the Addy for a while, but we got 50 defense, and I can wear runes. So now I have the full set, all +3, and rune 2H. I just finished up a pretty big undertaking to do the first two collections for Zeros and Zamorak. Again, we already did them once, right? But I'm doing... But in this case, I'm doing Volusia's collections just for some extra chronotes, because I'm kind of low on them. So you can see I've already done Zerosian 1, and now I'm going to turn in Zamorakian 1. I was a couple Hellfire Metal short. I was so close to having enough to do 2 full Zamorakian collections without having to hit up any of the material caches, but not quite. Okay, finally sorted, and we get a bonus whole stack of chronotes. And I think I'm up to about 15k. So that might be enough to buy the other 2 upgrades that we get from the assistant qualification. 7k and 8k, yeah, I think we should just be able to afford that. So we emptied out our chronotes, but upgraded the Matic and upgraded the material storage, which we will need as soon as we start to do more of the Ceradomist and Armadillion archaeology digs. So partially due to lack of originality and partially due to just laziness, as Banshees are aggressive, I decided to make my 50 strength grind, do it the exact same way that I did my 50 attack grind with doing Banshee contracts at the Slayer Tower. And I made a little bit of GP as well, so it's not bad. There's the level, 50 strength. So one thing that I have unfortunately learned is that despite doing quite a bit of combat training and getting up to 50 strength here, our goal was to get the combat level to use the Xanaris Slayer Master. However, that's not possible, and it's because if I plug in all my stats to the calculator on the RS wiki, we are still magic based, and we would need to get 8 attack or strength levels. It says 9, but I've leveled up since, to become melee based. So I would need either 58 attack or 58 strength. So I was not aware of this because the combat formula has been changed since the last time I really gave much thought into it. But it now takes the average of your attack and strength, and that is what determines if you're melee based or not. Whereas it's a lot easier to raise your combat level just being magic or range based. So despite all that work, I'm still only 67 combat, and I'm going to need to either grind out some magic or some ranged to get to 75 combat without training Slayer. Okay, we're doing a dungeoneering check-in. I've been DGing pretty much all afternoon, and unfortunately, as I'm finding out, there's not really many clips to record while you're doing dungeoneering, because you just do the floors, and then you keep going, and then you reset and you do them all over again. Not a whole lot changes. However, I do have some of these dungeoneering wildcards from the daily task system, so I figured I'd use one. This is my highest floor. I think we're on floor 33. So I'm going to pop one, and it's supposed to increase your XP and tokens by 50% for this floor. So normally I get like 9k XP or so. So let's see how much we get for this one. About 12.8k. Okay, that's not bad. I'll also check out our progress so far. So I think I started off the day in the mid to high 40s dungeoneering wise, and I'm now up to level 63. So the main reason I've been dungeoneering is my thought process was, hey, I need to train combat anyway. You do a lot of combat in dungeoneering, and dungeoneering is important to get started because, before you do too much Slayer, you want to get your Charming Imp, and eventually you want to save up for other dungeoneering benefits, chaotics ultimately, but there are other things that are important to buy, like the Scroll of Life for keeping your seeds, for Ironman. That's important. However, one thing I really underestimated is how freaking slow combat in dungeoneering is. It's really bad. So I think I'm going to take a break for a little bit just because I am itching to get back to Slayer and will be here 10 million years if I exclusively train up my magic through dungeoneering. So I think what I want to do though is kind of take it easy and AFK it, because no one wants to just grind away combat training for hours clicking on the same monster. So I invested in some Mystic Armor because if we're going to try to AFK combat, I might as well have the best defensive gear as possible. And then I realized, the only way to buy a Mystic Top is to do Dragon Slayer and buy from Oziak, or get level 66 Mage, but at that point there is better armor anyway. So I figured, you know what, I've been avoiding this quest because I'm scared of dying, and Elvarg probably isn't going to be that difficult at our stats, but I've been avoiding it anyway. So screw it, let's start Dragon Slayer. Let's just get it out of the way. So I made this mistake the first time I attempted Elvarg. I came here in mage gear. I took too much damage, and the accuracy was just too bad, so I had to leave and come back with melee, and it is significantly easier. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. I wasn't necessarily expecting melee to be better than magic, because magic is, well, at least, at the end game portion of the game, magic is superior to melee, but at least at this stage, the better defense and better accuracy we get from upgrading our own armor really made the difference. And there is Dragon Slayer done. We get a boatload of XP. Oh, I didn't realize you get a rune plate body for that. That's not bad. I'll probably use this rune plate body to upgrade it to a +3 and get some smithing XP out of it. But now we can trade him, and we can buy the Mystic Robe Top from him. Okay, I did the Hill Giants for about 1 magic level. It was slow, and just about every single guide online says something along the lines of, just AFK at Bandits in the Bandit camp. So we're going to try it out. The first order of business is going to be making some of these Topaz Amulets, which I just now realized I do not have the crafting level for. So I'll have to get that first. But we are going to make them because Topaz Amulets allow you to teleport to the Bandit camp, which will make banking very easy. As I tend to do, I went a little overboard, and instead of just getting 45 crafting, I spent a little bit longer at the gem rocks, and I got 50. That's a lot of quests that require 50 crafting, so I'm happy I got it. Well, it's immediately evident from the bandits that this is much better XP than other things I was trying. However, you can see that health bar, there's a little bit of red here already, and I haven't been here very long, so it's not going to be fully AFK. That's what I was hoping for, but, that's okay. This is still low intensity, right? I don't have to be paying attention. I just have to make sure to eat food when we get low. So bandits have been a great way to train. I've been here for, I think, a couple of hours. I'm getting about 50k mage XP per hour. About 100k total combat XP, but it's split between mage and defense because I'm trying to level them both up. And we are about to hit 60 magic right there, which means
we can use the next tier of magic weapons. So we'll have a accuracy and damage boost increase whenever we get our tier 60 magic weapon. Oh, and I must have missed the pop-up, but we also got combat level 75. I was thinking we would need one more defense or magic level for 75, but we got it on 60 magic. So that means we can now complete Lost City and start using the RS Slayer Master. So if this moment was happening even just a week ago, the question of what weapon we would get for our level 60 magic would be a bit more of a question, but due to the Wilderness update, perfect timing, we can now get the Saradomin, Deathtouch, or Zamorak staff with relative safety. There are still the new Wilderness mechanics we'll have to worry about, but I'll bring lots of food to try to avoid those, and yeah, we should be able to do the Mage Arena minigame without fear of being PK'd. Just in case, it never hurts to play it safe, I am going to buy my first extra life from Mr. X here in Edgeville. So it's 100k, and we get 1 death. And I think at total level, well, I'm not going to claim what total level it is. Eventually, you're allowed to buy a second life. But we now have 2 lives, so the first time we die, we're going to retain the hardcore mode. Alright, here we go. I know the main things that you have to watch out for are the Wilderness Volcano and random NPCs attacking you, although neither of those things are super common as long as your threat level is low. And your threat level goes up when you either kill things, makes it go up fast, or when you do skilling in the wilderness, which does not increase your threat level as high. And hey, there's no attack option on people in the wilderness anymore. That's very different. This will take some getting used to. This reminds me a lot of, I think it was, 2008 through 2010, the era where free trade was removed and wilderness was removed outside of bounties. So you could still kill people, but they wouldn't drop anything. So most of PvP was neutered effectively. Okay, Collodion was a lot easier than I expected. I came with a full inventory of food, but really only needed to eat a couple of them. Not a difficult fight at all. Okay, now we get to pick our Saradomin, Deathtouch, Zamorak staff. Historically, I've always gone with Zamorak. However, I'm digging this whole blue holy outfit we got going on, so I think I'm going to go to Saradomin this time. I know we also get the God Cape. Do they still have the same graphical appearance? They do. Okay, so they still kind of look like garbage, but sorry, opinion, I know, but I'm not a huge fan of the God Cape's look. It just looks very dated, that's all. So compared to some of the newer gear sets, it's not the most beautiful looking thing in the world. But now that we made our choice, we got our staff, Sarah's staff, so we have a pretty significant upgrade, our first tier 60 weapon. I don't think I can use the special attack on it until we do the rest of the Mage Arena stuff, but at least it's going to be a pretty big upgrade over the one in book for now. Oh, and while we're here, since we might as well, I'm actually going to pick up some Cosmic Runes. How much money is that? Oh, it's 11k for half of them, so 22k for all of them. That's not too bad. Cosmic Runes are... There's not a whole lot of shops that sell them. There's not a whole lot of monsters that drop them. Eventually, we're going to want to enchant some jewelry for getting around, so might as well pick these up while we're here. I don't want to talk about how long I was running around the swamp trying to find the start of the Lost City quest. These poor guys, they've been moved around this swamp so many times. I think they got moved around for the Shattered Worlds minigame, they got moved around for the Lumbridge Crater. They've just been relegated to this little barren spot by the sea where they couldn't figure out where else to put them. Okay, as usual, Lost City was very quick and easy. Let's go to Xanaris for the first time. And there it is, Lost City is done, 3 quest points, and most importantly, access to Childar the Slayer Master. And we're going to go grab our first task from her right now. So I don't know how hard Childar's tasks are. Some of them may require that we go back to Bandits and grind out some melee or range stats. 60 magic I imagine will be fine for anything that she assigns, but I'm a little worried about the other 2 combat styles. Looks like our first one is Cow Fights. That is a really great task. And this is why the Cow Fights task is so good. You can just chill in this spot right here, and you can even run along and use area loot to pick up the drops. But for some reason, pathfinding too strong, and the Cow Fights can't get at you. And it's, man, fat XP drops per kill. So great XP, they drop lots of herbs, lots of charms, and the XP is great. One of my favorite tasks. Okay, that is going to do it for this episode. I actually have about 15 or so more minutes of clips put together. I'm not sure if it's just because I recorded a lot more than I thought. I usually try to piece everything together and upload an episode when I have around 15 to 20 minutes worth of footage. Or maybe I'm just becoming more long-winded and talking more in these clips. I'm not sure, but either way, I'm not going to make one super long episode now. Rather, I'm going to try to make sure I upload an episode next weekend. I'm in a transition phase where I just had my last day at the job I've been at for 3.5 years this week, and then I have a week off, and then I start my grad program, so I'm going to be out of town visiting family, and I probably won't have a lot of time to play RuneScape this next week. So I'm going to use the footage I have and just make sure I upload an episode next weekend. But anyway, that is all for me. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.